Skippy02, new video coming out of the shop today. I'm bringing you this freshly put together Badger M22 Bull-Pup stock conversion for your Marlin small caliber semi-automatic rifle. This conversion will work on your Marlin 60, your Marlin 70, your Marlin 70P, as well as the Marlin 795. With a Bull-Pup, what you're essentially doing is moving your trigger group, as seen here, in front of your action, as seen here. With the various models, you've got various methods of ammo feed. Most of them have a magazine that would hang out from here. This one does not. This is a Marlin 60. It is tube fed, as you can see here. And yes, it does accommodate it. There it is. You see it with your own two eyes. And it has the necessary adapter plates to accommodate, as shown here. Screw this piece, screw this piece. These are the factory screws that come out of the stock and remove the barreled action out of the gun. There are two different adapter plates to accommodate. One obviously has a hole for the magazine and so forth. The other, as seen here, does not. And the trigger group is slightly different from one model to the next, which is also taken care of with an adapter plate that you see here. Trigger group uses the two supplied screws. Safety, of course, still works. Safe, fire, safe, fire. It's empty. But you simply remove the barreled action, remove the trigger group, and you assemble the sub-assemblies of this kit and then drop it in. And like I said, use your two factory screws to bolt the action in here and here, and the two supplied screws to mount your trigger group here, and then whichever adapter plate is required, both front and rear, and there you have it. If you saw my other video, I mentioned that this kit we were putting together included an additional accessory option, which was this Picatinny rail riser assembly. Obviously, on your normal rifle, the scope would mount to the action along the dovetail. But with your rifle now a Bull-Pup, that would almost guaranteed put your optic in your shoulder, and that's no good. So with this piece, you get the dovetail adapter and riser to Picatinny. You replace the forward leaf sight. Comes out pretty easy, I might note. Mount this adapter locking block in, clamp this piece down, and there you have it. 1911 Picatinny rail, mount your optics. But there it is. It's impressively light. Impressively light. We have not put it on a scale to see what the exact difference is, but it is notably lighter than the factory wood stock, which the rifle we used here, the donor rifle, was. Not one of the polymer stocks. Maybe that's comparable in weight, I don't know, but for comparison's sake, the wood stock that this replaced on this particular rifle, incredibly lighter. Also, you'll need the front has a set of Picatinny rails. There's one on each side. They're at your 3 and 9. Those come, so if you want to add, some kind of gadget or gizmo, lights, lasers, what have you, you have those options. It also adds a barrel band, similar to the Ruger 1022, which this rifle doesn't normally have, but with this conversion you add one. The only real, I don't even want to say difficult or tricky, but the only part that wasn't exactly just as simple as could be straightforward was this barrel band. You have to really squeeze and compress on that to get the mounting holes to line up with their brass well nut inserts that are already installed in the plastic stock. that was a little tough, but even that was not a big deal. Everything else pretty straightforward. You have a stainless steel rod that connects to the top of the trigger assembly, and it channels and runs through the chassis here and comes back to the action and then bends up, and it literally presses against the action. The only real gripe I guess I've got about this is the trigger, to me, does not feel as clean as it did without this conversion, but that's pretty common when you're, you know, stretching it out 8+ inches and adding adapters and what have you. But I think with some tinkering and a little elbow grease, we can probably clean up most of that. It's not so much a bind, it feels heavy. It feels like there's a little more slack, a little more drag. I think we can probably work on that here in the shop, and we'll probably end up doing that. But time will tell. We're going to take it out to the range and run a few hundred rounds through it and see what we think then. Probably do another video afterwards. Another thing I might note is where the trigger assembly comes together with the stock and the grip. Now this is all one piece here, but the trigger is actually the original factory. I'm not going to say it's a bad fit, but you know, look, it's a little gappy. It's, you know, it's not horrible, and I've seen other kind of accessories and so forth that are a much worse fit, but it could have been a little better. Could have been a little better, but it's not horrible actually when you're holding it. When you've got it in your hand, as you can see, my hand literally fits underneath of where this screw head is partially protruding and that little bit of gap is, so you don't really notice it. So maybe it won't be an issue, but anyway, I thought that was just a little bit sketch, but not a big deal. And one last thing that won't apply to the rifles that are magazine fed, but certainly apply to this, is if you're one of those guys that feeds through the drop slot, that's cutting it real close. Although most people will, you know, pull the tube out and run their bullets on in, just one after another, dunk, 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 and then put their rod back in. Some people actually just loosen the rod and then drop them in through there. That's real close. Clearly, I mean, you've got the room. Clearly, you've got the room, but you know, whatever. Again, not a big deal. I'm really nitpicking. Other than that, though, I like the lightness. I like the way it feels. I think it's going to be a good time, and I will definitely make a video after we get it out to the range and go at it. Thanks for watching. Take care. God bless. And as always, subscribe, like, leave your comments. Let me know what you think. If you got any questions, by all means, drop them.